What is going on, IK fam? And I'm back again today for another fantabulous video. So, I'm excited today because this is something that we just got an update on, right? As some of you know, Contention of Relics is somewhat of an interesting topic when it comes to what happens after the third round finishes. Right, now, for those of you who may not know, right, we'll go ahead and just kind of take a trip down memory lane, where you get to Chronicle 14, right, you get your first round of Contention of Relics, then we get to 17, you get your second round, and then at Chronicle 20, you get the third and final round unlocked, and no one really knew what happens after the third round finishes. So, we just got an update that for servers 4 and 5 were the ones that were going to find out first, right? Because their third rounds ended on 3/3 or March 3rd, or better yet, going into March 3rd, which we've already passed. So now, what we're finding out, which is huge, it just goes right back into Contention of Relics. Now, there's a couple reasons why this is really huge. One, now, there's a couple things we still don't know, as far as, you know, is it one more round? Is it going to keep happening? Will they just be back-to-back, right? So the moment that this round 4 closes, will it go into round 5, right? There are still some unknowns, but if it keeps up the way that it is, right, we might see some form of a back-to-back, right? Whether it's right away or a little bit of a period in between. The reason why this is extremely huge for servers is because Contention of Relics is arguably and by far the best way that you can accumulate gold from. Now, one of the ways that you're able to do that, and I'll show this on this screen, is from our S8 account, right? We are in that in-between period after we have finished. So you could see here, right, that the green faction, right, had won this round, right, for us rotating. The other thing that you can see is if we go to Mysterious Treasures, right, you'll see here, it says, after the Contention of Relics ends, special resource sites will appear in the Forbidden Zone. Gathering speed and reserves at special resource sites are higher than at regular resource sites. The kingdom that wins, in this case green, the Contention of Relics can obtain extra speed ups, items, gold, and gems when gathering at special resource sites. And it shows you the 4 that are there, right? So if we just go in here, right, we'll just find, any resource site we can. Okay, so here we go. So you can see that you will get gold, right? You'll get the extra speed ups. You'll get basically every speed up you can think of. Now, I don't know where the gem portion is here, if that's something that is just like a bonus that you get after, because it says possible drops, so it could be. I'm pretty sure you do get them, and if so, it would be after the gathering's completed that you would see that affected. But again, for this tile, the important thing here is that it isn't just 2,400 for the possible drops, right? It is a lot more than that. Think of these as like a gold node that you're accumulating, right? I'll give you an example. My buddy Shadow, when he just did his Contention of Relics in Server 5 for their third round, just before, for the one we showed you on the previous screen, right, he was able to gather something like 60 million gold, right, across that 2 or 3 day period. And even myself, right, I averaged, I want to say, around 30 mil gold for the 2 or 3 days that I was collecting. So it's a lot, and it really makes up for the bulk of it. Now, let me see if I could find a higher special tile, just so we can check. 2. Actually, you know what? All the 3s might be gone. Oh, I'm sorry, because there's 4s here too. So that's the other interesting part, right? Is that because we're in our second round, right? So the first round you have special tiles from levels 1 through 3. In the second round, the special tiles go up to level 4. The assumption then is that in the third round, you would see special tiles at level 5, and maybe this keeps increasing, or it just maxes out at 5, right? That is another one of the unknowns that we're just not sure of. But let me see. Okay, here's a good example. So here's a 4, right? This is something that doesn't spawn for you when you are in the first round, right? So again, higher gathering speed, right? It just means you can get more gold from the 4 tiles, right? Those are really, right, the bee's knees tiles that you want to gather from. So again, those are the biggest things. And this is something we didn't cover in our previous Contention of Relics video, was talking about what happens after your faction wins, right? Now, there's a couple big notes here I really want to touch on, because the way that we have done it in Server 8 is we decided, right, you could see here, right, that green is really above, right, red came in second, blue was in last, right? Now, we did this on purpose because blue won the first round, but the difference is that we allowed anyone and everyone to gather from the Forbidden Zone when the participation phase finished, or the contention phase finished. We realized in hindsight, this really is not the best way to do it, right? Mainly because only your faction can get gold and the extra speed ups, and then the gems, as they said, right, from the special tiles. This means that for the other 2 factions that were gathering, right, all they were doing was just gathering from a standard resource tile, just at a higher gathering rate, right? That's it. So we figured, and this is what we did for the second round, and we're going to keep doing this going forward because I really feel this is the best way to do it, is we are only going to allow the winning faction to gather the special tiles, because it allows for the winning faction to maximize on the most amount of gold, right, the speed ups, and then the gems that they can get from those tiles, whereas the other 2 factions cannot, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, because blue won the first, green won the second, right, our hope is that if we're able to, we would like to have each faction win a Contention of Relics. I think the great thing about doing something like that is it would allow for each faction to get involved. It would allow for more alliances within those factions and the players to be involved, right? And it would just be more of a kind of rotation effort, if you will. Similar to if you're playing other Kingdom Builders and you guys are like rotating king or something like that. I think this would be a really cool way to do it that we're hoping to. Now, the other option, and I'll probably do a more of a deeper dive into this later, is you could just convert every single player in your server to 1 faction, right? And then you don't have to worry about this, or even 2 factions and you rotate. Now, again, I'll probably talk about the pros and cons and make a separate video about that, but just some food for thought to leave it there. I think the reason why we're choosing to do it this way is because we just don't know what to expect. We don't know what is going to happen in the future. We don't know if there's going to be benefits to having 3 factions when Server vs. Server comes out, if there's going to be any other Kingdom events that benefit from having 3 factions. But again, I'll make a later video about that. Again, I just really wanted to talk about Contention of Relics. I wanted to talk about the update, which is super big to know that they're going to keep happening, if the trend continues, of course, and then also talk about the special tiles and how to best utilize those, especially if servers are trying to figure that out for themselves, and maybe how to go about setting rules for what's going to happen after that participation phase ends, and then those special tiles pop. So, guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. As always, hit us with a sub, hit the notification bell so you guys can get updates on when we have new videos coming out. Of course, check the description down below for any official Infinity Kingdom resources, along if you guys want to join our Discord server to get more updates, to join us in voice calls, to get good information that we post. Anyone and everyone, of course, is welcome. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.